Losing millions of dollars. Jeff Weiser reports.
The New York Times delivery men were not very happy as replacements, or scabs as they called them, headed into the Farmingdale, Long Island Imperial News Services distribution depot where they worked up until last Wednesday. The newspaper delivery men say they're not on strike and they would like to go back to work. But they say they were locked out last week after they rejected a contract offer. Some 240 drivers were laid off last week by distributor Arthur Imperatore after a majority of the union members voted no on a contract that raised base pay and guaranteed jobs until the year 2000. But it contained concessions on staffing and other work rules and all but eliminated overtime that enabled drivers to double their basic $40,000 annual pay.
I'm ashamed of myself that I had to go down and file for unemployment because these people took our jobs away.
We're willing to go back there whenever we can. All we want is a livable and some kind of nice way to work.
Arson, rock throwing, and other violent incidents cut into Times deliveries this weekend. Thousands of home deliveries were missed, and the complete Sunday Times never got to most suburban readers. And at a news conference today, the New Jersey businessman at the center of the dispute said one of the drivers who quit the union to work for him was kidnapped and beaten this weekend, and he implied the drivers' union was responsible.
I won't hire hoodlums and gangsters. That's the end. They were on notice.
New York Times executives say they still hope the dispute will be settled if the union reconsiders the contract offer, and they say more of the daily papers are getting through each day.
We had some tough days late last week, tough Sunday, but today's delivery was very, very good. I think over 90% of the newspapers we printed were distributed in the affected areas.
We don't overwork men, but we work men. They earn their money.
And Imperatore said the violence involved in the dispute amounts to terrorism. This is Jeff Weiser, Fox 5 News.
Union drivers are hoodlums and gangsters, and he doesn't want anything more to do with them. Vandalism and threats to other drivers have marked the dispute that cropped up when the newspaper drivers' union rejected a New York Times contract proposal which was recommended to them by their leadership. For Imperatore, the breaking point came Saturday night when a supervisor in his newspaper distribution company was driving through Danbury.
A man opened the passenger door of his car, got in, pointed a gun at his stomach, and told him, "Do what I tell you to do, mother obscenity, otherwise I'll blow your head off."
Imperatore says the man was held for 12 hours. He's offering a $100,000 reward for conviction of the kidnappers. A judge is considering the illegal actions against the Times and Imperatore's delivery service.
I believe that he will fine the drivers' union. It is also my belief that the drivers' union will realize that all of this is not merely unnecessary, it is self-destructive, and vote to approve the contract already approved by its leadership.
And there's late word that judge did find the drivers guilty. He has given them unspecified damages to pay, but if there are any more delays, it's going to be $100,000 an hour every hour that they hold things up, and if it's on the weekend, it could be $500,000.
That's a lot of money. Any inkling as to how the membership might vote for that contract?
Well, the problem with this is that the entire membership can vote. It is felt that the people who worked for this facility might have okayed the contract, but the other membership works for the Post, for the Daily News, and they're afraid that they will have to give things back in their contract if they okay this one.
So they got to get this thing ironed out.
Yes.
Thank you, Bob. Now at the top of the hour.
A federal judge tonight found union leaders in contempt of court for violating a restraining order prohibiting them from blocking Times delivery trucks on Long Island and in Westchester County. The judge says the union will be fined $100,000 for every hour the disruptions continue. Those drivers were on the picket lines again tonight, and Doug Johnson is in New Rochelle right now with the latest. Doug.
Susan, as these unemployed union members brave the chill night air, they continue to picket this newspaper distribution plant here in New Rochelle. They're already angry. Now they're stinging because of the judge's decision this evening. The judge saying, indeed, the union is in contempt of a court order to stop violence and vandalism in this dispute.
The Times is claiming that in 4 days of disruptions by union drivers, the paper has lost millions of dollars and may have to give rebates to advertisers because of lost circulation. Some readers aren't very happy either.
I came special for Times today. No Times is getting to be disgusting that I can't get a Times.
Despite this, the Times is saying all but 19,000 of its papers were delivered today.
If you are hearing that these acts are succeeding in stopping the newspaper from being delivered, then you are hearing wrong.
The Times has taken the union to court, claiming that acts of vandalism by the displaced union members is in violation of last Friday's temporary restraining order.
We've had punctured brake lines on some of our trucks, where we've had tires slashed.
The FBI is investigating claims by the owner of the two newspaper distribution companies that a driver from a wholesale delivery center was kidnapped, beaten, and threatened by the out-of-work union members. Furthermore, he says he will never hire them back.
I won't hire hoodlums and gangsters. That's the end.
Now, there have been a few rocks thrown here tonight at vans going by, supposedly driven by replacement workers. As to whether the violence will stop, that remains to be seen. These fines certainly are onerous, $100,000 an hour going to $500,000 an hour. But the main concern of these men behind me is really not that. Their concern is the jobs they appear to have lost, and as each day passes, it seems less likely that they're going to get them back. We're live in New Rochelle. Doug Johnson, Channel 7.
Union drivers continue to picket outside distribution centers for the paper, but some newsstand owners told Channel 2 News this morning they did not get papers. A judge warned union drivers yesterday that continuing to disrupt delivery will cost them heavy fines. The trouble started last week when the new owner of two wholesale delivery centers fired the drivers and hired replacement.
A dispute with delivery drivers union. Some suburban outlets are still having trouble getting the paper too, but they say that things have improved. The Times suburban wholesaler fired more than 200 workers who rejected a contract offer last week. Now, the Times says one driver was forced from his truck at gunpoint on the Long Island Expressway today and blames the fired drivers. But the drivers union denies the charges. Union drivers are holding a meeting at this hour. A judge has warned the union that it will face heavy fines if it does disrupt delivery.
Moved into the city, and vandalism cut into the circulation. The dispute was touched off when a suburban wholesaler bought distribution companies, and the drivers refused to accept a new contract from him. A federal judge slapped $100,000 fines, $100,000 an hour fines against the union if the disruption continues. Tomorrow, the Times will be back in court with its version of the latest.